Welcome to Reddit Story. Subscribe and like it. I think it's not difficult for you. Thank you, thank you. Eric and Lily had been together for 5 years. It had been a good time, but neither of them could say everything was perfect. From the very beginning, their relationship was full of passion, and they were young and enjoying life. But over time, they began to notice a growing distance between them. Lily was a marketing specialist at a large company, and her job gradually began to demand more of her time and energy. Eric, a financial analyst, also had a career that required significant effort. They rarely talked to each other about their problems, seldom discussing what was important to them in the relationship. Instead, each withdrew into themselves, assuming the other would figure out something was wrong. They still went out together for dinners and events, but those moments became fewer and no longer brought the same joy. Their son Lucas was still small and required attention, which only added to the stress at home. Lily felt that Eric was paying her less attention than before. She missed the emotional closeness, the conversations and support that had been present at the start of their relationship. Eric, meanwhile, was unaware that Lily was distancing herself, believing that everything was fine. They were just busy people with responsibilities. One day at work, Lily met Michael, a colleague of hers. He was charismatic, always smiling and joking. He seemed to understand her, to be interested in her as a person, not just as a mother or wife. Michael often struck up conversations with her, and they discussed work matters, but soon their conversations became more personal. The company's Christmas party was the turning point. Eric couldn't attend because of work obligations, so Lily went alone. It was a typical event: company employees, drinks, and music. But Lily felt different that night. She dressed especially carefully, putting on her best dress and doing her hair. Michael was also there and wasted no time in paying her attention. "You look stunning tonight," he said, sitting down beside her at the table. "I can't take my eyes off you." Lily smiled shyly, but the compliment was pleasant. She couldn't remember the last time she had heard something like that from Eric. "Thank you, Michael," she replied, feeling a slight thrill. They had a few glasses of wine, and Michael asked her to dance. The wine coursed through her veins, giving her confidence, and Lily agreed. The dance turned out to be the beginning of something more. After the party, Michael offered her a ride home, and Lily, knowing that Eric had already been asleep for hours, accepted. This was just a mistake, she told herself after finding herself in bed with Michael that night. But it didn't end there. That first time opened the door to a full-blown affair. They began meeting after work, and Michael became the emotional support Lily had been missing. She knew she was betraying Eric, but she couldn't stop. With each encounter, it felt more and more like Michael was what she truly needed, someone who understood her and gave her what Eric couldn't. Like many husbands, Eric remained unaware for a long time. Lily was still a caring wife and mother, and despite her frequent late nights at work, he chalked it up to her career and minor stresses. But one day he stumbled upon her phone, which she had left in the kitchen. It was her second phone, one he had never known about. "What is this phone?" he asked himself, inspecting the device. He tried to unlock it, but it was password protected, and Lily had never mentioned having a second phone. Suspicion began to creep into his mind. The next day, he started to pay closer attention to her behavior, and noticed how she always kept the phone close, never leaving it out of sight. Finally, after a few days, he managed to glimpse the password she used to unlock it. When Lily went to take a shower, Eric seized the opportunity and looked through her phone. What he saw shocked him to the core. There were messages from Michael, explicit, full of passion, and mentioning their many encounters that had been going on for months. Eric couldn't believe his eyes. He felt as though his world had just collapsed. Lily had been cheating on him, and not just once, but repeatedly over a long period. When Lily came out of the bathroom, Eric was sitting at the kitchen table, holding her phone. "We need to talk," he said coldly. "About what?" she asked, not understanding what was happening. "About your affair," he said, throwing the phone onto the table. Lily turned pale. She realized her secret was out. "Eric, it's not what you think," she started to explain, but Eric cut her off. "You've been seeing Michael. You've been cheating on me, and it's been going on for months. How could you?" His voice trembled with anger and pain. Lily didn't know what to say. She was cornered. I got confused, Eric," she said, tears beginning to well up in her eyes. "I was feeling neglected. You were always at work, and I felt so alone. And you decided to cheat on me, instead of talking to me?" He could no longer contain his emotions. That conversation marked the point of no return. Eric couldn't forgive Lily, despite her tears and excuses. He felt utterly betrayed and broken. In his mind, their life together had been a lie. After that conversation, Eric filed for divorce. Lily moved out and continued seeing Michael, but the relationship quickly fell apart. Michael wasn't interested in a serious commitment, and soon it became clear that their affair had been built on passion, not real love. Lily was left alone, realizing that she had lost her family over a fleeting affair. 5 years passed. Eric started a new life. He met Lisa, a woman with whom he built a healthy and strong relationship. Lisa helped him regain his emotional balance, and now Eric was happy. They had plans for the future, but Eric wasn't in a hurry to remarry. Lily, meanwhile, remained alone after her breakup with Michael, struggling to piece her life back together. She saw Lucas once a month, but their visits were brief and lacked the warmth of a true family. One day, sitting alone in her apartment, Lily began to reflect on what she had done to Eric. Memories of how things had been before the affair haunted her. She started to wonder if perhaps she could still fix things. Lily spent a long time gathering the courage to reach out to Eric. She wrote him several messages, but never had the nerve to send them. Finally, one evening, she worked up the strength and sent him a brief message. "Eric, can we meet?" Eric stared at the message for a long time before replying. He was already in a new relationship, and while he was curious about what Lily wanted, he wasn't eager for any major changes. "Hi, Lily," he said when they met at a cafe a few days later. "Hi, Eric," she responded, her voice quiet and unsure. "Thank you for agreeing to meet." "What's going on?" he asked directly, sensing this would not be an easy conversation. Lily hesitated for a long time, trying to gather her thoughts before speaking. "Eric, I know I destroyed our family. I made a huge mistake when I betrayed you. I realize that now after losing you." Her voice trembled with emotion. "I want to bring our family back together. I want us to be a family again, for Lucas." Eric was silent for a long time. He thought about everything he had been through and how he had found happiness once again. "Lily, he paused, searching for the right words. "I can't go back to the past. What we had is gone. We were together for 5 years, and it was good, but you destroyed it. I'm not the kind of person who can just forget and start over." Lily lowered her eyes, realizing her hopes of reconciliation were slipping away. "I'm in a relationship now," Eric continued, "and it's important to me. The only thing I can offer you is this. We can be friends for Lucas' sake, but nothing more." These words completely shattered Lily. She had hoped that Eric still loved her and would forgive her, but now she understood that she had lost him forever. "I understand," she whispered, barely holding back tears. Lily left the cafe feeling empty. Her attempt to return to the past had failed, and she realized that her mistakes had cost her family for good. Eric, meanwhile, returned to his new life, continuing to build his relationship with Lisa and being a good father to Lucas. Psychological evaluation. 1. Infidelity deeply impacts trust, leaving the betrayed partner questioning their self-worth and reality. In Eric's case, Lily's affair shattered the trust, leading to feelings of anger, betrayal, and rejection. Trust, once broken, is difficult to rebuild, which was evident when Eric chose not to reconcile even after Lily sought forgiveness. 2. A major cause of their relationship issues was the lack of communication. Unaddressed emotional needs and unresolved conflicts allowed dissatisfaction to grow, leading to infidelity. Healthy relationships require open dialogue about needs, feelings, and expectations. 3. Eric's decision to move on and establish clear boundaries demonstrates emotional maturity. His ability to offer only friendship, despite Lily's regrets, highlights the importance of protecting one's emotional well-being and not reopening old wounds. 4. Lily's relationship with Michael, based on lies, reflects how relationships rooted in dishonesty rarely succeed. Her regret and longing to return highlight the psychological struggle people face when realizing the long-term consequences of their actions. 5. Divorce and infidelity can affect children emotionally, leading to attachment issues and difficulty trusting others. Lucas, although not directly involved, may face challenges in understanding relationships due to the turmoil between his parents.